who was your best friend in the business? Would it be Bryan Clark? Bryan Adams, I should say?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was your best friend?
Yeah. And I traveled when I was in New York. I traveled with, Billy Gunn and Bob Holly, and I traveled with a lot of different people, but definitely Bryan. Once we, because I was a little bit of a lone wolf a lot, which is okay with me. I like it that way. But with Bryan, man, it was absolutely. Once we got paired up, man, there was no separating us.
And we kind of touched over it a little bit more than that, but how did Chronic, you guys end up actually just gravitating towards each other and ended up being the tag team? Because I know he was the Demon, and Wrath had kind of fizzled out because of the jobs that they unfortunately made you do. How did that end up gravitating?
Well, I'd been out with I'd say towards the end of the Wrath thing, I'd written my knee and been out for about 9 months with ACL reconstruction. Got that repaired and was getting ready to come back. And Bryan called me. He was like, "Hey, I heard you're getting ready to come back." And I think this was around the Russo time. And he said, "I talked to him, and what do you think about tagging up?" And I was just like, because I had a real good, the Wrath thing was working, and I wanted to give that another shot. But he talked me into it, I guess. I think talked me into it. I agreed to it, and so that's what we did. And man, the first time we went out there. And every night after that, man, it was just the chemistry was there, and everything we did, it just seemed like it clicked, man, automatically with him. And as I got to know Bryan, we had so many similarities. I mean, our backgrounds were, I was cop in the Air Force. He was a load master in the Air Force for 4 years. He was a powerlifting champion in Japan, and I was the same thing in the U.S. and college football. And we were both 6'6", both named Bryan. Just went on and on. But it clicked, man. I tell you, it was great. I wish that I would have. And he told me the same thing many times that wish we would have done it, 5 or 10 years earlier.
So do you think
I'll say this though, with all the negativity that WCW gets, I will say this: Chronic was one of the best things that they had going towards the end there.
Yeah, and we sort of felt that way too. We could go out there and get a pop when most people were not. We did a lot of big man power moves and stuff, and we'd work with the cruiserweights and throw them all up in the air and sling them around, and we worked with the big guys or whatever, but it definitely worked. They did a couple things to try to slow it down, but they put the belts on us twice, and that got over and stuff, so it was fun. Absolutely. That was a good, that and the Smoky Mountain time, but tagging with Bryan was probably absolutely the best time of my career.